guys, welcome to another episode of WoW Weekly with Myst. For this week's events, we have Turbulent Timeaways is still going on. Collector's Bounty is going on. That's the mount event. We have some Greedy Emissary going on. Winds of Mysterious Fortune just started up this past week, and it's been pretty good. I haven't really got there on my main character as far as rep goes yet, although my friends say the rep is amazing. They're getting tons of it. But I did start doing some of my catch up on my alts. I've been slacking a lot lately. I haven't done like a major amount of leveling, but I've put like a few levels on one of my alts. And yeah, for a bit, it seemed like it was taking a while to get some of those potions. I find the sweet spot seems to be 73. When I hit around 73, I start looting those potions at a faster speed. Until then, it's almost like a rare drop, you know? Like, yeah. Time walking is this week. I forgot to actually check which one, so let's do that. Okay, it's classic this week, so classic time walking. Delves will be the weekly bonus. PvP Brawl this week will be Comp Stomp. And on Tuesday, we're going to have the auction house party. It's a fun little thing that the auction houses do in the major cities like Stormwind and Orgrimmar. So that is the weekly events. Let's get into some retail news. Okay, so for starters, the Twitch drop we have going on, that's the Adorned Half-Shell Transmog. It looks like this. And I will once again this week be streaming 4 drops. So anytime you see a stream going live from, say, now to August 11th, it'll be for drops. Yeah, it's going to be all WoW until... It's going to be a lot of WoW for a while. Yeah, I do need to get back to my random games, but there's a lot going on in WoW right now. So yeah, you can be pretty certain that... if I'm live, it will be a WoW stream. We also got a new 6-month subscription mount. So this is it here. I'm just gonna say it's ugly. Yeah, it's ugly. It's worth a +1 for your count. Yeah, I can't say much more. Yay for the fact that I got it free. I was already on a sub. I'm paid up till like way into next year, and yeah, so because of that, what they do now is they just gift it to you. So if you're also on a sub, check your gift section in your BattleNet and you should have this. I noticed they gifted me 2 this time, so 1 for the NA account, 1 for the EU account. That is kind of nice for them to do, especially since my EU account has like next to no mounts on it, because I basically never play it for the most part. I made it for us, you know. I made it back in, I think it was BFA when I made the EU account. And yeah, it was to be able to, it was more to be able to do some activities with the EU crowd. So yeah, it gets next to no attention. But it was nice to know that, you know, they gave me 2, 1 for each, you know, account. So very nice. Also, there is the Tropical Wave Pack on the Blizzard store here. So it is $15 US, and it includes 2 ensembles and then also a reskin of the Wave Shredder mount. You have until September 15th to collect this. That's how long it'll stay on the shop. So the Overcharged Delve mount, this is one that I've been kind of just like picking at I do a few delves here, a few delves there. You know, I'm picking at it. I will probably, like, I'm a procrastinator and there's a lot going on right now. I will get this mount done very last minute because I'm doing like 3 delves per week to kind of get it done rather than spamming it all out. Just because I'm doing mount farming and transmog farming, and I'm still working on some current season stuff, you know, and yeah, I've got a lot going on. But I just thought I'd mention that the Overcharged Delve mount is not going away, but it will get a little tougher to do, so worth getting it done before the season ends. This is the one that gets you the OC91 Chariot. It's the Titan console overcharged. Basically, there's 17 things on there. You purchase them all. And yeah, I'm down to my last 8. I've done more or less half. And I'm not too worried, though. I'm going to do like probably 4 this week and then 4 next week. So yeah, just thought I'd mention that. If you don't get it done in time, it will still be there in the new patch, but it'll be for Undercoin and it'll be 15,000. So I guess it really just depends on how much Undercoin you got. The big piece of news this week has been the removal of the Reagent bank and the void storage. So at first glance, I was a little alarmed. I'd been asked what I thought about it in stream, and I told that person that I was going to need a little time to look over all the info to give my full thoughts. I don't like making judgment calls off of a tagline, you know? And at first glance, I was pissed. Yeah. I was like, void storage removed? I love my void storage. I know there's a few different batches of players. There's the batch that doesn't even know the void storage even exists. And let's be real, those are people who don't look into anything anyway. And 2, there's the people that maybe have it, you know, half filled or less. They know it exists, they just don't have to see a huge use for it. And then there's people like me that have collected so many things over the years that void storage was an emergency bank for them, right? And so my void storage is maxed. There is not a single space missing out of my void storage. Especially once they lifted a lot of restrictions on it. The void storage, when it first came out, was hugely restricted on what you could put in there. When they started allowing like the legendaries to go in there and stuff, yeah, I started getting it a little more filled out. So at first glance, I was not happy, but I've dug into some info that I'm gonna share with all of you guys, and it actually doesn't sound as bad as, you know, it sounded at first glance, you know. So to start off with, the character bank is now going to look a lot like your war bank, with the little slot tabs at the side. There will be some costs involved, so I do believe we are repurchasing. I will say that, but you're gonna get more storage. So that's what it ends up with. Is so there's 6 tabs. 1 gold, 100 gold, 500 gold, 1,000 gold, 2,500 gold, and 5,000 gold. I'm happy with those prices. I'm glad there isn't a 1 million in there. So yay. I think the prices are fine. I'd be talking a whole other story if they'd been high like the Warbank is. So each tab will have 98 slots of storage. So that is a huge thing. That's a big increase in what we have now. And the reagent bank part of it is going to be removed Now, I have some characters that definitely have full reagent banks, but I have some that are just not played as much as my other characters. And because of that, they really have nothing in their reagent bank. So I think for characters like that, this is a great option. For my main and other well-played characters, we're just gonna make one of those bags a reagent bank. That's what it's gonna end up being. But it's still, I like that there's the option. So the only worry I have with this one, and it's because of the player I am, and you guys know what player I am. Many of you guys have seen the streams, so you probably can already predict what I am about to say next. But the only issue I see here is the day it comes out. I myself am the main character that people see in the streams. I don't play the alts a whole lot on stream. They're off-stream characters a lot of the time. And so my druid is what everyone sees. And she's bags full, bank full, void storage full, no kidding around, no exaggeration. Like, those are all absolutely full all the time. Like, there is absolutely no exaggeration there. And so, we all know issues can happen. I'm sure we all remember the guild bank issue. That day I was really glad that I don't use any guild banks as personal banks. I will just say, anything I put in the guild bank I pretty much do not care about. So yeah, but when they did that change, a lot of people lost a lot of their stuff. So I highly, highly suggest, I don't think anything's going to go wrong with your bank tabs. And, if it did, you're screwed. Where are you going to put all that shit? But the void storage. The void storage is being completely removed. And basically, how they've worded it is they said, all items previously contained in character banks, reagent banks, and void storage are automatically moved to available tabs in the new bank upon login after the patch. Now, with us having extra space, I think there could possibly not be a problem. It could go smoothly. There'd be extra space. So everyone realistically, even myself, and I'm the worst person that I've seen as far as bag space goes. I've never seen anyone remotely as bad as I am. I've seen some people with full bag spots, but those people usually have nothing in their void storage. So I will just say, like, I am the worst situation I have ever witnessed in World of Warcraft, and I think I would be okay. But I would say if you've got the space to do it, remove it. Remove it, take the stuff out of your void storage, and, put it somewhere else. Void storage isn't warband, so I am gonna cross my fingers and hope for the best because I got no place to put it. I'm bank full, I'm bags full, and I'm void storage full. Where exactly am I gonna throw it over to? Right? Like, we're just gonna cross our fingers and hope for the best. I am gonna take a quick little look at my void storage, and if anything is super, super important, I'm gonna find space in my bag for it, but I am not gonna find room for the entire void storage to go somewhere. I'll pick like a few notable items I have in my void storage, put them in my bags. I'll probably, I probably won't play a whole lot on that character for a bit. But overall, now that I've looked into things on this, I love it. Yeah, I went from not liking it to actually loving it. I am a character that could use extra storage. I'm always asking for them to give us extra storage. And it's about time. It is about time they add some slots of storage. Yeah, I would always ask just for bigger bags, but if they, because every expansion, the bags are like, what, four slots higher? Like, it's nothing. It's nothing for an every 2-year type equation, right? So this is a great increase. Yeah, no longer upset about it. I think this is a great thing for every character. Next we have the Phase Lost Slateback mount. So this is it here. This mount is like kind of ugly and pretty at the same time. I think it's the pink that makes it pretty and everything else makes it ugly. But nonetheless, this is a mount we're gonna get. So yeah, it doesn't look bad. Like I said, it's kind of like ugly and pretty at the same time, which is it's a compliment versus ugly, So yeah, this is a mount you'll get in the Karesh area. It's through an achievement. The achievement is Phase Lost and Found. It's got a lot of stuff on it. This is gonna be something you work towards. Yeah, it's a bunch of weapons that you find in the world, and there's 20 of them. They have a low chance to drop from orbs that you'll see flying around the Karesh area. And they do say starting week 2, so don't bother looking for them on week 1. It's gonna start like with the season, so yeah. Which makes you wonder if it will be time limited. Which, if I find out it is, I'll let you know. Realistically, it shouldn't be, but the fact that it starts on week 2 is season start, yeah. Makes it almost sound seasonal, so we'll see. But at the moment, yeah, that's it. And it might not be as bad as it looks, maybe, it does say it's a low chance, but maybe you see orbs all the time flying around, Okay, so I thought we'd get on this mount. This is a mount that, I never use. I earned it back in the day, and it's pretty, but it flies weird. I've never been too fond of the way it flaps its wings, and, yeah, it just seems very papery, and I find a lot are like that, so I just don't use it very often, because it just doesn't seem like it flies smoothly. But it is a notable mount, so I thought I would just show it off today. This is the Violet Spellwing, for those that aren't aware. Now, this was one of the many AOTC mounts, and so you got this in Legion, and it was from killing the final boss on Heroic, and yeah, we have those every expansion. Pretty much the first one was in Myst Pandaria. A lot of people don't actually know that. A lot of people think the first one was the WoD Friendship Moose, but there was actually one before it. It was Myst Pandaria. Probably why a lot of people wanted that AOTC mount when Legion Mop was a thing. So I imagine those people are pretty pissed right now that we're getting this back. So when Remix Legion comes back, you'll be able to purchase this AOTC mount. And I said a long time ago, it was back around when the trading post first came out, there was actually a very notable item that hit the trading post a while back. And something you had to be online for during a certain period of time. And that was the time when I was like, they're going to start bringing more of that shit back. There'll be a time when we start getting seasonal stuff, right? And I guess here we are, because AOTC, I'm just going to say, if they're going to start bringing back AOTC, all you guys that want glad mounts, just wait. Just wait patiently. Hell, they've already made that shit easier. Like, in a sense, when they started allowing you to get saddles to get those old mounts, like, yeah, that was easy mode right there. When they started allowing you to just, like, all those mounts technically were FOMO, right? And now you can just, like, spam your arenas and stuff to get saddles. So, in a sense, they've already done it. But on that note, I will say they did very much clarify that you're not going to be able to get seasonal PvP gear from the Remix Legion. You won't be able to get the artifact weapon appearance from PvP. And you also will not get Mage Tower artifact appearances. So those 3 things are not included in Remix Legion. I never expected that they would actually bring back the original Mage Tower artifact appearances, but I also wouldn't have been surprised if they did. It's like, I don't expect it, but then it's like half of me doesn't expect it, but then half of me is shocked when they don't hand out stuff to players nowadays. Because ever since Dragonflight, I feel like, I feel like you don't really earn anything anymore, So yeah. Even M+, like, let's be real, M+ used to be higher keys and 1 mount. Now you have literally a participation mount and then the real mount. But it's actually kind of funny on that topic, because I don't know if it's just me, but the participation mount always looks better. So it's always the lower score that has the better mount, It's very weird. And you know why that is? I almost feel like they probably knew what mount they were giving away long ago. But long ago, they didn't have the participation score. So it was supposed to be the mount, and the second mount that's the higher score now is, the reskinned version, not the original color version. That's what I'm thinking. Anyway, that's a little off topic anyway. But yeah, I just thought I'd mention that this sucker is back. I don't know how you really earn it yet. I imagine it'll just be on a vendor, but I can't tell you a price or anything. If they're gonna bring back an AOTC mount, I think game on. Game on. Bring everything back at this point. Because AOTC in the land of raiding, that is very much a... I get that there's people that just buy it, right? There's non-raiders that just buy it off of some guild. But as a raider myself, it's hard work to actually get that. More so back in the day, because it was actually more of a struggle to get to the last boss back in the day, And yeah, I think that's one reason why they didn't do it for Mop, because that was, that was a hard clear to get that one. So yeah, that's all to say on that one. That's just a new item coming back. I could care less. I've had my time of being pissed at changes in WoW, so I'm kind of numb to everything now. Like, yeah, I just don't even care anymore. I've gone through. I went through, I would say, BFA and Shadowlands. I was pretty much pissed most of those 2 expansions off their changes. And then Dragonflight just made me not really want to play as often. And now I'm just kind of whatever they do, Like, I just don't even fucking care anymore. I'm used to them just giving things away now. So, but I will say, the way WoW had worded it probably pissed off a lot of people because they labeled it as Mage Tower appearances won't be obtainable in Legion Remix, and then in the article they talk about Violet Spellwing coming back, and it's like, you should have just made that the topic, because now you got people who see that coming back, but, and they would have known anyway, but it's like Mage Tower's the tagline, and then it talks about getting Violet back while it also says they're not gonna get the Mage Tower appearances, so it's like a fucking burn to people, right? The way, sometimes the way these articles are written, it's, yeah. Okay, so my goals and accomplishments, what I've been up to this week. Mounts, I got another 3 this week, which really kind of worries me because week 1 was 3 and then week 2 was 0. And then now week 3 is 3. So now I'm really worried that week 4 is going to be 0. Right? I'm feeling a pattern here. So I really hope I hope this last week is not 0. A lot of people seem to think there's 2 weeks remaining. And it's like, it ends the next reset. There's only really 1 week, unless they extend it. If they extend it, which is quite possible, because we, something that I, didn't put into the news, I totally forgot, but we got news that Sylvanas mount wasn't necessarily 5%. I'm just gonna say that was barely news to me. I knew it all along. I told you guys straight before the event even started that 5%, like, the math don't add up. 5% on amount that say is 0.8% don't equal 5%. I'm just gonna say, like, like if you're good at math, you knew that. You knew that going in. That didn't equal 5%. Some of the buffs you can tell are legit, but there are some that aren't. And I would say if you got Sylvanas mount in this event, like, you did get lucky, because Sylvanas mount was buffed. So it's not like it wasn't buffed. Her mount is usually less than 1%. So, and it's sitting at an almost 3% right now. But point is, they did tell us that everything was minimum 5. So, some people were upset about that. I don't care. Honestly, like, I mount farm every week at less than 1% drop rates. I am just happy to have a month where maybe I get lucky with a few mounts. Like, I've seen the greed that really is in this event. I think that's the thing I've seen the most, is people who think they deserve these mounts. It's like, try at them if you get them, cool. If you don't, cool, like, I'm just gonna say, most of the people looting these mounts don't necessarily deserve them, you know, but most of them are non-mount farmers. But if you get one, there's nothing wrong with that, you know? And I personally, as someone who mount farms all the time and doesn't loot shit for months, sometimes years, I think I had like a whole year where we got nothing off of our mount farms. And yeah, that can be very discouraging, so I don't mind an event like this. I think this is a great event for mount farmers. You know, it's also great for you non-mount farmers too. But us that like farm mounts every week, this event was made for us. Like, come on. This was totally made for us. You know, because it can get discouraging after a while, you know, and it's nice to just have, you know, like for me, for example, nothing's coming to me free. These are all mounts I've been farming for a while. It just means I'm not going to be in triple digits for some of them. That's all it means, right? Yeah. But it's not like any of these were like 1 attempt or 2 attempts, you know? And I get that that was probably the case for a lot of non-mount farmers, but I think we're the ones really kind of winning in this situation because we know how it feels to not get a mount for a long time. And that's the one thing I have seen in the community is these people who don't usually mount farm, thinking that 5 attempts, they're getting unlucky. You know, I've been laughing at that lately, people thinking they got unlucky off of 5 attempts, you know? And yeah. But anyway. I looted 3 mounts. So I looted, well, one of the 3 mounts I already had, but I figured it technically was looted. We might as well count it. But I was doing a transmog farm in Anexia and her mount dropped. I was pretty pissed about it. I actually hate running this for transmog though, because I'm always so worried that the mount's gonna drop, and I'm a full believer in that using your luck up. Yeah. So I don't like doing this one right now. But it's in the list. It's in, you know, I like working my way down the list. There's Anexia. Yeah, I didn't get it. Probably was missing, I don't know. It's like, it's a short window because it's gotta be while she's up in the air and before she comes down, and yeah, it's a very short window. Yeah, well, it's back in the transmog farm, so we'll have many more attempts at that achievement, I guess. Okay, well, I got a transmog, though. We get anything else? Oh, fuck! God damn it! I knew that was gonna happen. The mount dropped. Fuck. God. There goes our luck. I bet you we get nothing this week now. Ugh, I'm very pissed about that. That is why I didn't want to put it in the transmog, but god damn it. Uncongrats. Huge uncongrats. I've had that mount since, like, probably, like, Lich King or something, you know? Like, yeah. Yeah. And I had a feeling... I've tried my best to not have the transmog farms be mount farms. But, you know, or be places that have mounts. But unfortunately, we're working on Classic, and Onyxia is part of that, you know? And with the double loot and Onyxia having so much loot, I don't want to just skip it, you know? It's a good time to possibly get a good chunk of those items, but fuck. I swear to God, if I get none of the mounts that I actually need this week, I'm gonna be so mad. It was the first drop of the week, and I was like, fuck, Onyxia fucked me over. I'm probably never getting anything for the rest of the week. So I was really mad about getting that mount. I deleted it. I've had Onyxia's mount since before I became a content creator. So yeah. So I think I got that mount around 2010 or something like that. I can't totally remember. But yeah, that was one. And then I looted Xerath Overseer as well, which was on stream. And that was a great one to loot, because Xerath Overseer is normally, without the buff, half a percentage. So really good one to get out of the way. And then the third mount was actually off stream, but there is a video. You know, I do my best to capture everything. I miss a mount here and there, you know, like I definitely haven't posted every single mount I've earned. But I try to give you most of it. But the last one that I looted this week was the Tazavesh mount, the Gear Glider. Really happy to get that one out of the way, because I over time have started hating Tazavesh. I used to love Tazavesh. You know, I remember I didn't like it, and then I started to like it, and then I started mount farming for this Gear Glider. And the dungeon itself is easy, but there's kind of two annoying parts in the dungeon. The first annoying part is the puzzle door. Easy to do, but when you're sleepy or it's getting late at night, or, you know, this is one of those mount farms that you can be wide awake for, and by the time you're done doing whatever attempts you want to do that day, you are wiped and you're ready for bed. And you shouldn't be. You were wide awake. Like, this is one of those dungeons that actually does put you to sleep. So that's the first annoying part. And then the barrier's gotten better. You know, it's why I use my druid for that farm. She works around that barrier in a matter of a few minutes. But yeah. So I'm just really glad to be done with Tazavesh. So yeah. So those are my 3 mounts. I did technically buy a mount this week, so I thought we'd talk about that. So, time walking. I was going to go farm some badges, and then I'm like, you know what? I betcha I have a bunch of badges all over the place. So I went into my character sheet to see who had, you know, all the badges. For those that don't know, you can transfer badges, you know, ever since this warband came out. So I went, and all my characters had like small amounts of badges, right? They were all like 300 to 2,000 or something. But I have so many fucking characters. So I went on every single one of them. It took a while. Transferred all of their currency to my main here. And before you knew it, she had 50,000 badges. So I can buy everything. Yeah. She has so many fucking badges right now. Yeah. So I bought the mount that was on the time walking. I'll just throw a picture up here because I can't remember the name of it. Time walking mounts for the most part are just for number for me. And yeah. So that's nice. It's good to know that I'll knock out all those mounts. I just gotta wait for them to roll around the proper time walkings. And yeah, so I don't gotta farm badges at all. You know, I have so many, I'll be ready for the next one. But you know, they already just released BFA, so you know, it'll be a while before we get the next one. next batch of new mounts. But yeah, so got that. And yeah, that's been my week. Okay, guys, so that is the end of this video. I hope you enjoyed. Have a great final week of the mount buff, and we'll catch you in the next one. Bye, guys.